Hello, I'm your host Heather Smith. Welcome to the Accounting Apps Podcast, where we explore the accounting and business apps community. Today's episode is part of a series of 6 interviews recorded at the Oracle, NetSuite, CloudWorld and SuiteWorld conferences, which were held in Las Vegas, September 2024. I encourage you to subscribe and add them all to your playlist. In this episode, I speak with Meredith Rowan, Group Vice President of ANZ and ASEAN Applications Oracle. Meredith leads the strategic direction and execution of Oracle's cloud application solutions across the region. With over 20 years of experience in the technology sector, she has a strong track record of driving digital transformation and helping businesses leverage Oracle's suite of enterprise solutions. We discuss a key factor in their success is making enterprise applications more user-friendly through the new Redwood user experience interface. Opportunities to leverage technology, particularly AI, to fill the productivity gap created by economic pressures and drive better outcomes. Meredith noted that Australia and New Zealand have slipped in global productivity rankings, with the slowest productivity growth in the last 10 years. Meredith also shared some customer success stories from the likes of Avis and A2 Milk. On my blog, you'll find detailed show notes to accompany this podcast, and for those looking to earn free CPE, be sure to head over to the Earmark app and take the quiz for the podcast you're about to listen to. Finally, thank you to Oracle NetSuite team for hosting me at your conferences. Welcome to the podcast, Meredith. You're Group Vice President of ANZ and ASEAN Applications at Oracle NetSuite based in Melbourne. Can you share with our listeners what your role involves?
Sure. Heather, thank you so much. It's an absolute delight to have this opportunity to talk to yourself and your listeners, so I'm just thrilled and delighted to be with you. What does my role involve? Well, I would like to think that my role involves really working with supporting and enabling our customers and our prospects to be very, very successful when they use Oracle applications. So I spend a lot of time throughout Australia and throughout the region. And I often say to people, I'm so fortunate. I think I have the best job in the world. I get to go into companies and I get to meet with people and I get to meet with many finance executives. I get to meet with CIOs, CFOs, COOs, and we talk about where the business is today, but really critically where they want the business to go tomorrow. And I'm a really curious person, so being able to look inside and see how we can work with and support these organisations to their next, it's just fascinating. So I think that's a large part of my role.
What a privilege to be able to go into those companies, and what amazing insight you must have for them to be able to sort of have a sense of the trends of what is happening in the industry and sort of be able to share and work with them on that. So how has NetSuite's presence in ANZ and ASEAN markets evolved during your time at Oracle?
How's NetSuite's, how have they evolved? So interestingly, I came from NetSuite. So I was in NetSuite now. Goodness, you take me back. What were the years? 10 years ago. And I was there for about 5 years in the NetSuite business, and I ran the NetSuite business until I moved into the Oracle mainstream business.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I've worded that incorrectly.
No, it's fine. Okay. It's all good. No, so NetSuite's a great product. They're more SMB, more finance focused. I've seen with the Oracle acquisition, they've really evolved to grow and really expand in their marketplace, and they're doing fantastic things in their marketplace. I came into the Oracle role in 6 years ago now. I've been in the Oracle side of the business, and I came over from NetSuite because we were really looking to build a renewals business and really build out, looking after our customer base to make sure that they kept renewing and kept reinvesting in the Oracle SaaS applications. So I built that out, and I've been with the application side of the business for 6 years, and I've just seen it grow exponentially across the region, which is really thrilling. We've had some wonderful success.
Absolutely. And I was there was a lot of mention of the new Redwood design and experience yesterday, and I went and had a look at that, and what I hadn't twigged, but it had a video about Oracle and how you actually go to the Oracle for your answers. With all your questions, you go to the Oracle. I hadn't, I hadn't twigged that was kind of the interlace
the pun,
there.
yeah,
Yes.
the pun, pardon the pun. The Oracle for Oracle.
Yes.
But it's to Redwood, to your point,
Yeah.
you know, it is an absolute thrill being able to take the application out to our customers and our prospects and show them how much we've changed that interface and how much more user-friendly it is. It's making a huge difference for us. You know, I think that it's been a significant improvement. I would go as far as to say a game changer. You know, we are, you know, in the last 12 months, for many of the largest opportunities that we've been in the market and competing on, particularly in HCM, we've not lost one. Wow. And people are attributing that to the new Redwood interface and the kind of user experience that it gives you. I think, you know, for so long, many of us, I might be showing my age, many of us have come through the ranks and we were used to enterprise software applications that were maybe not the simplest user interface. And I think that focus on making more of the work experience like the commercial experience, like a consumer experience, I think that's really helped us to adopt and embrace enterprise applications, and Redwood's absolutely proof in the pudding of that. It's, you know, we've focused on making it very user friendly, making it very rich in terms of the ability to see and get information. Just made it so much more accessible and intuitive than it's been historically. So yeah, we're very excited about Redwood and what it's bringing.
The weaving of the redwood forest into the wording or the branding there, and the redwood forest always has a very calming sense about it. So that's really smart because, you know, people when they are going to move to an ERP, overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Moving people into software enterprise applications and change management, I say to many of the CFOs I work with, this is the hardest part. This is the most difficult part. It's the change management aspect. And we all always underestimate how much change management actually entails and involves. And I think, you know, there's a lot of discussion I have with our customers, with our partners as well, around how do we really support and work with our customers to ensure that, you know, we help them take all their people on the journey. It's one thing for the finance executives to be really comfortable with moving to this new system, but there are a lot of people you need to take with you. And with Fusion applications, it's not just finance applications, there's HR applications, there's CX applications, so the footprint of users across the organisation is incredibly broad. And to your point, you really do need to make sure that the customer and all of the people in the organisation are comfortable to come on that journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a huge change.
It absolutely is. So to that, do you see that the businesses in the regions that you cover face any unique challenges that you can talk to?
Well, I think at the moment we're all facing some very big challenges. I don't know that unique challenges per se. I think if we look at, well, let's start with Australia and New Zealand, you know, the finance executives I'm talking to, the challenge we have now is that there's not much left to cut. We've cut as much cost as we possibly can. And when we look at asking people to do more and trying to push productivity harder, you know, that's not really an option either. You know, we've got a situation where, because we've already faced significant challenges in the economy, I think people have cut where they could. I think many people and many organisations are doing more than they did before with less. So we've already got a big challenge there. So I think the challenge, or the unique challenge that we face, is actually the unique opportunity to take advantage of technology to fill what I would call maybe the productivity gap or the possibility gap that we've all faced because of the amount of economic pressure we're under at the moment. I mean, it's difficult times, but now more than ever is the opportunity to really leverage technology to be able to make up for that. And I think finance are just so uniquely positioned and I'm probably cheekily talking to your listeners because I know they're finance executives by and large, but I think, gosh, what a wonderful position to be in. You're in a trusted position. You know your organisation. You know the data sources for your organisation. You know the data yourself. And you're in this wonderful position to be able to look to leverage perhaps AI and technology to really drive some more efficient outcomes than you had before. And so I think there's a big opportunity in Australia and New Zealand, particularly around productivity. Australia and New Zealand, I think we've just slipped to 31st or 34th in productivity status in the world. Our productivity growth has been the slowest in the last 10 years of the last 60. And that really means, I guess, a decline in the standard of living for all of us. So I think there's a massive opportunity for us now more than ever to leverage technology to get more productivity, to drive better outcomes. And I think AI is going to give us a huge advantage and opportunity with that. So I think, the unique challenge that we face is, I think, just the difficulty of the environment we're in. But I think there's a massively unique opportunity for finance executives to really embrace and lean into AI and enterprise applications to move their organisations forward.
And to circle back to what you said earlier, be curious.
Yeah, always. I mean, it's quite incredible. Like I said, I think I've got the best job in the world. Like, I think I'm very, very fortunate. But, it's great. Like A2 Milk, they're a company out of Sydney. They're a fantastic, local Aussie company. And, I was talking with James Madigan. They've managed, simple things, right? They've managed to take their close from 9 days down to 4 days. Just by rolling out Fusion ERP. 9 days to 4 days. Now, when you put that back in real terms in A2 Milk, what does that mean James and his team can do differently and look at and have more time to do? It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. It gives them 5 days back and they can have it off.
Absolutely.
They can take it off. Take the days off.
I think that's very generous. I think that's a great idea. But I think, they're really brave. Like A2 Milk are really brave. Like they really lean in to AI and they're innovative. And so, I was just thinking when I was telling you about the close, not only that, they embraced AI to run all their forecasting. So they kept going with the standard forecasting that they'd used before, right? But then they said, okay, we're going to use AI and we're going to let AI do our forecasting. So they ran it for 6 quarters consecutively, both. Guess which was more accurate?
The second one.
AI.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Every time. 6 quarters in a row.
Wow.
And AI came up with a more accurate forecast each and every time. So, that's just A2 Milk, and that's a great example of, I guess, an opportunity to lean in and find new ways to do things.
Yeah, goodness. Wonder how the humans feel about that.
I think, funnily enough, so, I think that's a really, really important statement that you just made because it's very interesting. I was at a session with Deloitte 2 weeks ago, and Stu Scotus, who leads AI for Deloitte for Australia and New Zealand, was saying, many people are fearful that AI is going to replace them. And he had a really good point. He said, AI will not replace you, but someone who uses AI will replace you. And I thought that was really interesting because it is so true. What it's about is getting rid of those inefficiencies and being able to free up time for finance to actually do work on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
There's another great example of that with Avis. I love this example with Avis because it's just such a simple process flow. But to that point, Avis cars, so we all know Avis cars, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they use Fusion Applications, Fusion ERP. And so they had a simple example for you, non-PO invoices, right? So bane of everyone's existence, non-PO invoices. How do we allocate? Where do they belong? And so basically they used the AI that's out of the box in Oracle Fusion Applications, just used it straight out of the box, and 3.3 million predictions, a 98% accuracy rate on all of those non-PO invoices, right? So think about that for Avis Cars. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Out of those 3.3 million predictions, 98% success rate. That's given their team back 122 hours per month. 122 hours per month. And it lets you get out of working in the business and start working on the business and looking for those opportunities and being able to drive forward and being able to add value back to the business and leverage all the great, this is the time for finance. I talk about this a lot, don't I? I think if there was ever a time to be a finance executive, it's now.
Yeah.
We see so many CEOs being ex-CFOs. I just think, it's really the culmination of many, many things that make finance just in the perfect place. You've got the trend of, the CEO coming from the CFO office. You've got, like I said, finance executives are the absolutely best placed people to understand and appreciate the data of the organisation, but then to apply that back into business outcomes and partner with the business divisions to give greater wins and efficiencies. So really, for your listeners, it's a very exciting time.
It absolutely is. And the finance people, they understand all the data and how it's all been siloed in separate areas. Hi, I'm Heather Smith, and you're listening to the Accounting Apps Podcast. I encourage you to stay up to date with the curated content I'm sharing by signing up for the Accounting Apps newsletter, available at accountingapps.io. Now a quick word from our sponsor. Approval Max makes it easy for businesses using Oracle NetSuite to build robust financial controls across accounts payable and accounts receivable. On average, it helps save 10 days or more per month, reduce 85% in approval times, and improve the accounts payable process efficiency by up to 50%. Quickly approve vendor bills, POs, expense reports, vendor return authorizations and sales order. Save time and effort with automated routing to take care of multi-role and multi-tiered approval workflows. Design and build sophisticated multi-level approval processes quickly and easily in Approval Max without any IT support. You can find more details about Approval Max for NetSuite by visiting approvalmax.com. Now let's get back to the interview. Be sure to connect with me on LinkedIn and subscribe to the podcast for further insightful interviews and news from the accounting technology world. So this I think is just a very simple question. Historically, large businesses in the ANZ region are much smaller than their US counterparts. Are you seeing that trend changing?
Historically, Australian businesses are much smaller than the US.
Like if we go, that's a large business in Australia, and then we come over here and we looked at a large business in the US, a large business here is so much bigger.
Yes, so there's definitely...
Are we seeing businesses in Australia grow in size? Are you seeing that?
Absolutely. And there's nothing I enjoy more than working with our Australian businesses and really supporting them to grow. I think Australian businesses are really looking to adopt best practice and very open to adopting best practice, and I'm really proud of that when I meet with a lot of the Australian companies. I talked about A2 Milk. There's a great Aussie company. They are very open to, I think, taking the best of breed and best of practice from around the world. And so long as you can do that, it's not really so important about your size. I think it's more important about being very efficient and capable and doing a good job for your customers, for your own customers. And I think that's where I see Australian companies are very, very focused. It's not the CFOs that I'm speaking to, the finance executives that I'm speaking to. Absolutely, growth's a given, but it has to be manageable and has to be sustainable. And I think that, historically, obviously, in Australia we're not as big as the rest of the global players, but I'd like to think that we learn the best from them and do a fantastic job ourselves and do things a little differently.
Yeah, I do think that Australia looks out into the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I was working with a very large insurance company in Victoria recently. I think 40% of Victorians are a member of this organisation, and they were just so aware during the process of deciding to come with us, what could they learn globally? And I'm seeing that's certainly a very increasing trend. The organisations that we're talking to and working with for finance modernisation, finance transformation, finance optimisation are very, very keen to learn and listen and get the very best practice they can. And actually yesterday I was talking to a CFO who's here with us at Cloud World, and she's just elected to come onto Fusion Financials and also Fusion Supply Chain Management for her organisation, which is in healthcare industry, very large organisation. And she made a really good point. And she said, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at our infrastructure, I'm looking at our software, and I'm saying to myself, I cannot keep up with the innovation cycle. I can't do it. And I don't want to be in this position all the time. I want to transform, and then I just want to adopt very best practice, and I want someone else like you, Oracle, to give us the innovation. And she made a really good point. We spend $9 billion on research and development. We have 14,000 customers globally on Fusion applications. And she said to me, you tell me, you lead the way, you give me the quarterly updates, you give me the innovation, because I cannot do that. I can't have that big team. But I can't afford to invest in software that doesn't evolve and grow continuously. And I thought she made that point really well yesterday. I think that was great to hear, really great to hear that we're helping them stay ahead of the curve in their industry and be able to do new and better things, because you help a healthcare provider. That's great outcomes for everybody.
Absolutely. And I've heard this, the way that you're phrasing things several times today is that while you're selling to them, you're really a partner in their business.
Absolutely. That is the first thing that I talk to all of our prospects and all of our customers about. I sit down with our customers, and the first thing I want to know is, what value are you getting from the investment you've made? And for those that are considering and coming with us, what value do you want to get from this investment? What does this look like? Because we actually are going to be joined together at the hip for a really long time. We're not selling you on-premise software where you buy a product and you go away and build it and maintain it. Absolutely not. We're providing you a service, and we need to be here today, tomorrow, and into infinity, providing value for you and service for you and innovation for you day in, day out. And that's something that Oracle takes incredibly seriously. We put quarterly updates into the application. So as per that CFO I was talking about just now from the healthcare industry, so that she can leverage that and she can get the value from that for her staff and then flow through to their patients.
So for someone who's listening in from the ANZ, the ASEAN region, and they're sitting on the core solution, what are some of the solutions within the suite that they should be potentially looking at that they're not yet looking at?
So if someone's sitting just with, just with core ERP, just with, we're still very grateful for that, and I hope you're getting wonderful value. What I would absolutely encourage you to do is, we talked about Redwood at the start, so if you're sitting on an older version or you're not aware of the kind of innovation and changes that have occurred over the last 12, 18 months, definitely have a look at that. It's really important that you can have an appreciation for what Redwood can bring to the user experience. I think the most exciting thing by far is Oracle is absolutely leading the pack when it comes to AI and Gen AI. We have over 100 processes out of the box already in AI and Gen AI. We are a long way ahead. So please make sure you have a look at and understand what we can do and help you with there. Of course, our HCM application.
So what's HCM?
Very good point. Thank you so much. Human Capital Management. So our HR system that can do everything from recruit or hire to retire, if you want the more typical vernacular. But really, so to give you an example, right, of where we're at with our HCM or Human Capital Management solution, I don't love writing job descriptions, I've got to be honest. And so the special thing about Oracle and our AI is we only use our data. So if you are using the HCM application, it will only be your data, nobody else's. So the moment now that I start to write a job description, I get all the prompts. It automatically detects, well, what is that job? What does that look like? What's that role? What's the functions of that role? And starts to give me suggestions on how I can populate that job description. It literally takes me 5 minutes on something that I used to noodle for 45, 50 minutes and then sometimes longer. And typically at 1 a.m, right? So probably not doing my best work. So I leverage AI within our HCM application to help me with that job description. But it doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
The next thing, what it does for me is it takes all of the applicants and it takes and matches all of the CVs that come in for the role, and it gives me 150, it gives me the top 10 matches, and it gives me a 150-word summary of each. Can I tell you how much time that saves? So I would encourage you, if you're at home, please look at the HCM or the HR applications and understand what they can do. UniSuper, for example, Julie at UniSuper, the CHRO there, she's fantastic, Julie Watkins. She talks about the fact that since they started using, and they use ERP and HCM, so they use the stack. Since she started using HR, they've been able to do, they're getting rates of employee engagement up in the 90s. And we know that employee engagement in Australia is about 32% average. So really, really great outcomes there. So look at the HR applications. Supply chain management. Have a look at supply chain management and see the kind of efficiencies that we can drive and deliver for you there. There's so much capability and so much richness that is open to our customers that they can really improve in terms of demand planning, really improve customer outcomes. I think ResMed are a great example of this. They've used supply chain planning to great effect to differentiate and get better outcomes for their business. So, yeah, have a look at that. And then EPM. There is nothing we can't accomplish within our EPM stack, and we have customers using it for ESG, so environmental, sustainability and governance requirements and reporting. So we're seeing a huge amount of value there. So I think your users would be really interested in that. I think it's really important. Our EPM reporting gives huge capability in ESG, and we're seeing a huge uptake for that. Recons, there's a host of possibilities across the stack. But yeah, just reach out myself to anyone at Oracle. We very happily talk to you and give you more information.
I think you've given our listeners a lot of things to be curious about and to explore further. So we're here in Las Vegas at Sweet World. What's been one highlight for you so far? I know we're only a couple of days in.
We're a couple of days in. I'm actually really excited. I think in about 30 minutes we get to see Safra Katz on stage. So she's our CEO, and a lot of people have a lot of respect for Safra. I think that she has taken Oracle to just the next level. The things that we're achieving and accomplishing around the globe, and some of the announcements that are coming, which are, I believe, coming. I haven't heard them yet. I wish I had an inside track, 30 minutes time. But I think for me, being a female executive in Australia, I think seeing someone like Safra Katz, who's been with Oracle for a very long time and knows our business incredibly well and has driven us to new heights in terms of what we're able to achieve and accomplish, I think I'm very much looking forward to that. But the absolute highlight for me so far is just I got to spend a bit more time with some of our customers. And I think yesterday, hearing that example I gave you, hearing that CFO when she said that she is banking on us, and she was very clear about that, the trust that they've put in us to work with us is huge. And I think that for me is the highlight. I think knowing that you're working with executives and organisations where when we get this right, we can deliver huge value that not only saves money, improves efficiencies, but critically can change lives. That's my highlight every time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Meredith, so much for joining us on the Accounting Apps podcast. How can our listeners get in contact with you?
Oh, Heather, no, it's been my pleasure. Thank you. It's such fun. I could stay here all day. How can they get in touch with you? Very welcome to reach out. I'm very happy to share my email, mobile number.
Maybe they should contact you on LinkedIn. Maybe
LinkedIn's
that's a good way
fine.
to do it.
It's very, no issue at all. Whatever anybody needs, always keen to hear from people that want to know more about Oracle, and very happy to encourage them to do so.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Meredith.
Thank you.